and they'll figure you from there. Pass here.
The crowd had not even chanted a slogan. They were simply standing outside a hotel in Fort Portal, waving at the man they believe represents their hope for political change. But within minutes, heavily armed police trucks rolled in, sirens tearing through the calm afternoon. Officers fanned out, dispersing unarmed supporters who, according to Bobi Wine and his team, were doing nothing more than waiting to see their candidate. This was not a rally, this was not a protest, this was just presence, and in today's Uganda, presence alone can spark a security response. What happened in Fort Portal is not an isolated moment. It is part of a pattern that opposition leaders say has defined Uganda's political landscape for years: tight control, aggressive policing, and a security environment that seems to shift dramatically depending on who is speaking, where, and why. In the latest incident, Bobi Wine, one of the most prominent opposition figures in the country, says security forces stormed his temporary residence and scattered people who had simply gathered outside the hotel. He describes it as yet another sign of a regime that deploys disproportionate force when dealing with its challenges, while everyday citizens elsewhere struggle with insecurity and crime.
Pass here. Can you pass here? And they'll figure you from there. Pass here. Get a good road where you can go. Can you pass and we go?
His words were sharp. Quote, "One wonders why all this manpower is invested in just one presidential candidate while Ugandans who badly need this security are ignored. To understand why this moment matters, you must understand how opposition politics operates in Uganda. Opposition candidates often face restrictions that range from cancelled venues to blocked convoys, sudden police orders, or forceful crowd dispersals. Measures authorities justify as security protocols, but to the opposition, these actions amount to systematic interference."
That you are going to Harugongo. Next to your next venue. I even gave you directions. We already have everything. Some of you people refused and decided to stand here. What is the problem? Just inquire. I am aware. Can you follow that inquiry? Yes. Allow me to inquire. Yes. Let me inquire. They showed us this. Please, we cannot do this. Excuse me. We agreed on that route. We had a planning meeting with your team for 3 days. Yeah. We have met thrice. That's why we have not had any issues. But we are saying, excuse me. You got Harugongo. The route is that one, the road you branch off. Just from where? Half a kilometer. No, any problem. The problem is keeping diverting the problem. If we agree with that way, let's follow that and we go. Other than keeping around here, roaming around, we will not give it time.
This tension has defined Ugandan election cycles for decades, the state insisting on control and order, the opposition insisting on rights, freedoms, and equal access to voters. For Bobi Wine, this is not just a political contest, it is a lived experience. He has faced repeated arrests, blocked rallies, confiscated equipment, and continuous monitoring. His supporters have walked into tear gas, arrests, and roadblocks. Today's episode in Fort Portal is simply another frame in a long rallying documentary of pressure. And yet, the crowds continue to come. They line roads, stand on rooftops, sit on borders, or gather silently outside hotels just to wave. For many, these moments of presence are the campaign. They are the only way to catch a glimpse of the candidate when formal events are restricted. But the implications run deeper. When ordinary citizens risk dispersal just wave, it raises questions: how free is the democratic space? How level is the playing field? And what message is being sent to those who wish to participate in politics without fear? Security forces maintain that they act to prevent chaos. They warn of crowds turning unruly or unplanned gatherings posing risks, but critics argue these explanations are unevenly applied, often appearing stricter when aimed at opposition activity. This disparity fuels frustration. Supporters wonder why crime-stricken areas complain about slow police response, yet convoys of officers can be deployed instantly for political reasons. It is a contrast that shapes public opinion and deepens the sense of inequality. But the Fort Portal incident also reveals something else. Uganda's opposition is campaigning in an environment where unpredictability is the norm. A schedule can change at any moment, a venue can be revoked without notice, a rally can be cleared before it even begins, and an innocent gathering can be treated as threat. These challenges force opposition leaders to operate with caution and constant improvisation. It turns a political campaign into a survival project, managing security risks, navigating state restrictions, and reassuring supporters who fear intimidation. Yet, despite everything, the movement continues. Bobi Wine's team says they will keep showing up, keep speaking, and keep pushing. Supporters say the more they are dispersed, the more determined they become. This pressure, intended or not, has transformed Uganda's political opposition into both a political and symbolic struggle. The question now is whether the coming election will unfold under the shadow of similar confrontations. Will the state tighten control further, or will public pressure open space for freer engagement? As the campaign intensifies, moments like Fort Portal are not just reports, they are signals. They reveal the tension between power and participation, between state security and citizen expression. And for millions watching across Uganda, the symbolism is clear. Democracy is not only measured on election day, it is measured in moments like these, moments when waving at a candidate becomes a political act and dispersal becomes a headline. This story is still unfolding, and so is the question at the center of it all. In a nation proud of its political history, how free is a campaign when the simple act of waving becomes a security issue? Newsroom, Maisha TV, Reader Kering Chebet.